In part 3 of this video series about my Volca rig, I want to talk a little bit about this little workstation that I built for myself. I like to think that it looks pretty cool in pictures and videos, but if you were standing here next to it, you would realize that it's actually just a bunch of boards sitting on top of a couple of keyboard stands. So there's two X keyboard stands, standard stuff, a red one and a white one, holding up a couple of boards. The bottom two shelves are, that was a 1 inch by 12 inch by 6 foot board that I cut in half. And the top one is similar, except it was a 1 by 6 by 6, and I have the other part of it over here, which I was gonna make two dual shelf units, but I haven't quite sorted that out yet. The top shelf is actually just sitting on top. It's actually not attached in any way. It's just resting on some 2x4s, and I've left a little pathway in there for the cables. And in fact, this one isn't even doing anything. It's just kind of hanging out. But this puts everything in a position where I can use it, which is has been pretty good for kind of workflow at this point. The initial design was to build a pair of two-tier shelves. The key step is 19 inches wide, and the beat step is 16 inches wide, and a trio of volcas is about 23 inches wide. So the idea was to build two-tier shelves, 2 feet wide, and so basically I'd have one that would be, kind of this length, and I'd have a little bit of area here where maybe I could put a pedal, and then I'd have another one over here that would be, 2 volcas, and then maybe the Vixen mixer. With like a little bit extra room for, again, a pedal or something, but it didn't really seem like I'd have a lot of that extra room. It seemed like if I made a 2 foot wide one on the lower shelf, there would be a lot of wasted room because the pedals that I have are kind of big. They wouldn't really fit in that little spot very well. So this strip on the front, which this is just a 1/4 inch by 1.5 inch by 3 foot strip. They sell those in the hardware stores, 3 foot strips. So I took those 6 foot boards, cut them in half, and just nailed and glued those strips to the front of them. I think there's 4 nails and a strip of wood glue on each of those. It didn't take me very long at all. I'm not particularly handy. And so once I realized, having a 3 foot length that I could fit both controllers on it really easily, it kind of opened things up. And now that I've been playing with it for a few days, I really like having both controllers there. The only problem you can see is obviously the synths don't fit on the 3 foot shelf. So 5 volcas is more than 36 inches. So I've got myself a bit of a problem on the top shelf there. So some ideas that I'm playing around with is, keeping one 3 foot shelf, but taking something out of it and then making another smaller one. I actually have no idea what my plan is. Maybe making this into a 3-tier shelf. If I end up incorporating the Vixen into the setup, I won't need as much space for that Mackie. So maybe, a 3-tier shelf, I'd be able to fit all the pedals and all the volcas on, kind of 2 shelves above the controllers. And then I just have kind of one big heavy thing to carry around. The idea was to have 2 kind of smaller things, so I could take the beat step and 3 synths and walk away if I wanted to, theoretically. But having everything hooked together like this seems to be where the momentum is headed at this point. So that's the rig, that's the stand, that's how it's all hooked up. And in part 4, I'm actually going to turn all this stuff on.